after I came out of hospital, as I said, the medications were so strong. I was, as I said, zombified, let's say. Everything was just, I had no energy at all. Now, as my medication's been changed and my levels of self-confidence and self-awareness have gone up, um, my imagination and creativity is, I realize it's still there, but it was at levels that were so extreme before, but it's still there. Um,
That's brilliant.
right to anything really, my imagination is the most important thing
Yeah,
out of my being. If I put it down to one word, my imagination is the most important thing. So imagine if we lived in a world with no imagination. You can't imagine it. It's funny because when you start cooking, I mean, it's like starting any new job. When you start cooking, you really do start from the bottom up, and that can be a lonely place. So if you're in the kitchen and let's say you're a nobody, you're not well known. Of course, you're somebody, but you don't have that network around you. It can be a very lonely place and a place that an environment where you feel you can't speak up. But also sharing, one woman wrote in, I laughed out loud. She said, I thought the TV was talking to me. And the reason I laughed out loud was because I thought I thought exactly the same thing. And the other day I spoke to a chef friend of mine who we have regular conversations now. His name's Adam Simmons. He had a Michelin star. And he started to speak out about it. So him and I have he's the main person. I'm benefiting him, and it's benefiting me. He's
yeah.
benefiting me from being able to meet other people that have it and talk about the syndrome. And when I mean some of the things on a high when you think you're Superman and you can change the world and all those things. And you have sorry the high, and then on the lows, it's more of a break things. I haven't done it since I've come out of hospital. I think with the medication and me working with it, it doesn't feel like it's going to come back, which is a really good thing. I realized I'd lost my flow a bit in the kitchen, so maybe my movements are a bit more angular. And one thing at a time, my flow's coming back. So my movements, it's continual movements. As I'm shutting one drawer and picking something up, I'm not running around. And that feeling of let's say, being in flow is fantastic. But obviously, cooking at home and cooking in the
It's
kitchen
different.
are two completely different things. So there's a reason why the kitchen team are called a brigade. You get mixed moments.
Of course.
I had quite a few of those, hallucinated, happy suicidal thoughts, which doesn't make sense. And I hallucinated a gun on the table, but like I could pick up. And it's classic when bipolar gets extreme, you can have visual hallucinations, you can hallucinate sounds, so you hear a sound that's outside my head. It's not a tune in my head. I think it's coming from over there. I'll try and find it, and there is no sound. It could be a piece of music or somebody talking. And also you can hallucinate touch. You think you're touching somebody or something, but in fact it's not there. I've been because I wanted to make sure. I thought, oh, blimey, this is a bit weird. Certainly, I've had my medication changed again, so I'm realizing I'm less. At one point, I became quite zombified
Of course.
because I suppose the medication it pulls down the highs and the lows. They get less extreme. But uh, I left hospital. I left hospital about 10% of what of the quantity of my medication that when I started. So over the sort of 2 months in hospital, it's been coming down. No, it's 10%, and I've had it recently changed. So I have more clarity. I'm more lucid. I'm thinking more clearly.